In the previous part, you could see how we built a flower box with concrete elements using glue and how we placed the paving stones. In this part, Roger lays the paving, but before he can start, the step needs to be installed first. You can also use a measuring cord to determine where the step should go. Here, a foundation will be laid again. Make sure that when the paving borders the house, you place edge insulation between the house and the paving. The insulation will absorb the expansion and contraction of the materials with changing temperatures, thus preventing cracks. The edge insulation can be 10 mm wide. We raise the platform at the front door with stabilized sand. Always check the level of your sand bed. When placing the foundation, take into account the height of the steps. Our elements are 15 centimeters high and 40 centimeters deep. Compact the foundation. You can do this with the vibrating plate or with the hand tamper. Here we choose the hand tamper because we have a small surface area and also because it is enclosed, making it difficult to maneuver the vibrating plate without hitting the wall or the planter. First, we place the step itself. The surface where the step will go is prepared. To level the sand bed, place 2 metal strips parallel to each other. Check with a level to ensure everything is flat. Place a straight edge or a long level on the metal strips and smooth your surface. During the preparatory work, a crane was rented, and we are now using it to place the step element. Carefully lift the steps with lifting ropes or straps. You can position them correctly by guiding the steps with the lifting ropes. Here, it is a wide staircase. Here, in addition to the 120 cm steps, we have also placed a half step of 60 cm, which together make up the length of 3 tiles that will lie on the upper surface. The platform was designed to work with full tiles and full steps. Now the concrete tiles can go on the steps. Since they are lower than the step, raise the platform further with stabilizer. Check your height and also place the 2 metal bands here. Level the surface to the correct height. By leveling with the help of metal strips, you can quickly create an even bed. If everything is well prepared, you can place the tiles. Tap them with a rubber mallet so that they are positioned correctly and at the right height in the bedding layer. The rest of this section of the driveway can then be laid.
Our curbstones are placed, and we can now proceed with the construction of our foundation. On top of the concrete rubble layer, we will lay the geotextile fabric. This provides stability. On top of that, we will compact an additional minimum layer of 15 centimeters of stabilized sand. And above that, there will be an uncompacted layer of stabilized sand in which we will lay the pavers.
First, you place a foundation. Fill the entire surface with stabilized sand until it is just slightly higher than needed. Then, compact everything with the vibrating plate. You don't need to purchase these, of course. You can rent them, just like the construction crane, at your local rental center. On the foundation comes a paving layer. Fill the space between the curbstones with stabilized sand to the correct height. Base this on the curbstone. Place your paver on the loose sand bed. Does it align with the height of the curbstone? Then you're good. Place the long metal strip on the bedding. Also, place a second strip at the same height, just slightly less than the width of your row. You can easily level your bed on these 2 metal bands to achieve an even street layer at the correct height. The easiest way is to work in sections, precisely. Especially if you are with multiple people, you can divide the tasks this way. Proceed in the same manner for the rest of the driveway. Ensure that your foundation consists of at least 15 centimeters of foundation. Compact with the vibrating plate and then spread another layer of stabilized sand over the entire surface. This is the bedding layer. You should not compact this layer, because by not compacting this street layer, you can later eliminate small thickness differences when compacting the pavers. You will level this layer to remove the excess stabilized sand. Always check if everything is correctly positioned, aligned, and at the right height. Due to the excavation, some pavers have come loose on the edge of the sidewalk. Before we place the pavers on our driveway, we will restore the sidewalk to its original state. Now that the stabilized sand is evenly distributed everywhere, we can lay the pavers for the walkway.
The pavers we have chosen for this house come with a protective top layer. This makes them low maintenance. The curbstones we have chosen have the same finish as the pavers, so they match perfectly. And the pavers also fit perfectly with our house. By the way, you can choose the pavers in different sizes and colors. For the car track, we use the exact same pavers. The difference is that the curbstones we use here are hidden, so they are not visible.
We choose a half-brick bond. This is not only an aesthetic choice, but also a functional one. Pavers laid in this way form a stronger whole than in full brick bond, as the joints are staggered to the maximum. Moreover, half-brick bond results in minimal cutting waste. You also have a bit more leeway because your lines don't continue, as they do with full brick bond. When laying the pavers, you start from the house towards the street. These decorative pavers can be placed directly against each other because a small spacer is provided on the sides, automatically creating a small joint. To achieve a beautiful color variation, mix the pavers from different palettes. It is best to keep the packaging closed until you start the job. This way, the pavers remain in good condition.
For large projects like this, it is very important that your order is correct. Also, make sure to account for the necessary cutting loss in your order, so you don't run short.
For each row, we will need one custom-made paver. Mark where the paver needs to be cut and place the paver to be cut on the saw table with a diamond saw along the guide. Then saw along the marked line. Thanks to the saw table with coolant, you get a nice cut for each paver. For the last row, we cut the pavers to size so that they fit nicely against the sidewalk. Mark and cut the pavers to size with the table saw. Now clean the surface thoroughly with a stiff brush. The pavers still need to be compacted into the bedding layer. Make sure to attach a rubber mat under the compactor. Also, make sure that no rubble or other debris gets under the vibrating plate. That could scratch the pavers. For the cart track, we follow the same steps again. The foundation is made of geotextile. This is a textile that will keep your substrate stable, while still allowing water to pass through. Carefully cut the fabric to the correct length and lay it evenly on top of the crushed stone. A layer of at least 15 centimeters of your foundation is placed on top. This layer is compacted with a vibrating plate. When building your foundation, it is best to ensure that you work as accurately as possible and that your layers are of even thickness across the entire surface. If your layer is thinner in certain places, you create a weak spot in the paving. Next comes a street layer of about 4 centimeters. This depends on your chosen paving. We do not compact the street layer, as it needs to absorb any irregularities. However, we do level the bed using a screed. Because we only have 2 strips of pavers where the car tires go on a cart track, we cannot use a wide edge finisher here. Therefore, we make this ourselves. Saw a piece of wood to size. Make sure it is straight. Make 2 notches in a plank, just at the depth of your curbstones. Your pavers go on your street layer. It is best to place them from the already laid pavers. This way, you don't damage the street layer. Especially here, where there are only a few pavers, it's better to place a plank and work on that. This way, you distribute the weight. Now, only the last part of the driveway remains with some custom work. At the street side, just like on the side of the lawn, a number of rows of pavers will continue. To align properly with the pavers, no curbstone was placed here yet. The curbstone still needs to be cut to size. Saw the corners at an angle and then set your stone in place. The last curbstone on the street side also needs to be cut to size to fit nicely with the existing sidewalk. Since an underground conduit is already in place and we cannot install a full curbstone, a corner needs to be cut out of the curbstone. This is quickly done with the diamond blade. Now the last section of the foundation and the street layer can also be placed. The final pavers are laid and the puzzle is complete. Also clean the strips here with a brush. Compact the pavers with the vibrating plate and make sure there is a rubber mat underneath to protect the surface. Then let the driveway cure. Ensure that no residues of stabilized sand are left behind. Clean the pavers immediately to prevent cement haze. The final step of the driveway is the jointing. There are different jointing materials, each with their specific properties. There are jointing compounds based on cement. This is a strong jointing compound, suitable for joints larger than 30 millimeters. You have them in dry variants that are better suited for wide joints, and wet ones, which are better for completely filling narrower joints. Additionally, you can fill your joint with natural sand. This is especially suitable for small joints and surfaces with little load. And finally, there is polymer sand. This is a sturdy joint filler, easy to apply, and without the risk of cement haze. What you choose depends on the function of your paving and the type. But in any case, make sure to read the technical sheet carefully.
Our driveway is finished, everything is laid out, and we can now fill the joints of the pavers. We are going to do this with polymeric sand, which will ensure that everything is fixed in place and that no weeds can grow through.
First, remove the excess edge insulation with a utility knife. Ensure a dry surface. Spread the polymeric sand over the walkway and use a brush to sweep the sand diagonally into the joints. The joint remains flexible and does not crack, and it is resistant to erosion, water, frost and wind. Your joint is already resistant to an unforeseen rain shower after just 90 minutes. That's all it takes. Make sure the joints are well filled. You may need to go over them several times.
A handy tip during grouting. If you occasionally give a few taps on the pavers with the back of a broom handle or a hammer, the vibrations will help the sand settle more easily between the pavers.
Once all the joints are properly filled, remove the excess sand. You can remove the largest amounts with a brush. Afterwards, use the leaf blower to blow away the fine residues from the surface. This prevents them from sticking to the surface of the pavers after wetting. Finally, saturate the joint with water. That water would activate the polymer to bind the sand grains together. Now let the joints cure for 24 hours. You can walk on the paving immediately, but to drive over it with a car, it is best to wait 2 to 7 days, depending on the weather conditions. After 30 days, the joint reaches its full final strength. To finish the driveway now, we hang a spotlight with a camera above the door. Take your time to review the manual. Make sure your circuit breaker is off. To attach the base of the fixture to the facade, mark on the wall where the screws need to go. Drill the holes in the facade and insert a plug. Now hold the base part of the lighting in the correct position and screw it to the facade. Get the rest of the fixture and connect the wires. Attach the lamp to the base part with a few screws on the sides. Position the camera and the light in the desired position. The fuse can be turned back on. Download the app for your lamp and let the device connect easily to your phone.
You can fully control your lamp with your smartphone. If the sensor detects something, both the lamp and the camera will turn on. With your smartphone, you also have full interaction with everything happening outside.
With light and a camera on the driveway, you create a safe and well-lit place. From a distance, you can also immediately check what is happening at home.
Of course, remember that you need to register the camera. The temporary driveway made of concrete rubble has been replaced here with a durable driveway made of concrete pavers with the planter and the step as the eye catchers. Fill in the plants and we are completely done. And as you can see, with a few helping hands and the right products, this is a job you can easily do yourself. Did you miss this episode or would you like to watch it again? Then surf to our website www.tobbit.be and don't forget to subscribe to our online magazine. As for me, I look forward to seeing you again on the next project.